Oh yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka why my pocket so big? AKA, is that a baguette in your pocket or you just happen to see me? Oh. AKA the Komaki Tiger Dropper, AKA put some whipped cream on my elbow and lick it a little bit, AKA the Nigga Love Master, bringing you yet another episode of Switch's Sights, episode 183. Today's date is October 12th, 2023. Oh yeah, I for the longest, so many episodes I've went without doing a proper introduction for people that may have not, that may be new. For those that don't know, Switch's Sights podcast is a solo video game centered podcast where your boy just talks about that. So yeah. Damn. It's October. We in the thick of October. So many games coming out, betas and whatnot. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we do. I will talk about Modern Warfare 3 beta. I've been playing a little bit of that, and then the second beta for everybody else is going on too. We are on the cusp of Spider-Man 2. Hell yeah, I gotta do it. Gotta do it. Damn. Anything notable that's been going on out of the norm, out of ordinary? Not that I could think of. So, without further ado, let's stop the dilly-dallying and get right into it. First topic of discussion. Hope I'm doing I think I am. Hideki Kamiya, for those that may not know. Hideki Kamiya is the godfather of some very heavy hitter games. He worked on the infamous immaculate Resident Evil 2, original Resident Evil 2. I believe he had some part in Dead Rising. Let me not misrepresent him. Let me not misrepresent him. What did he do? Yeah, Resident Evil, I think he was technically involved in the original Resident Evil. Not as much, but he was the director of the original Resident Evil 2. Devil May Cry, he pretty much made the first Devil May Cry. Beautiful Joe, Okami, and then when he went to Platinum, he did, of course, the infamous Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101. Oh, did he work on Star Fox Zero? And of course, the ill-fated Scalebound, the game that never was, that was planned to be a Xbox exclusive, but did not see the light of day. Maybe there's hope. There probably is no hope, but nonetheless, Hideki Kamiya, he's departing from Platinum Games. I think he technically already did. Yeah, his final day was technically today. So he has left Platinum, and interestingly enough, he just recently also started or is starting a YouTube channel, I guess, to keep him busy during this intermediary period where I think he signed a no clause agreement or a non-compete agreement where essentially he can't just leave the company and then start developing games for somebody else. So he has to wait a full year in order to start doing that if he so chooses. So that's interesting. Like I said, I'm gonna probably check his YouTube channel out. We'll see what he's saying. But he's basically saying, "Please help me. I have no job. Please." In his in his damn, I think he had a Ferrari. I'm like, all right, man, okay. So we shall see, but definitely looking forward to any other stuff he does down the road. If he does plan to ever come back to games specifically, but we shall see. Who knows? He might go to the Sakurai route and start going full in on his channel. You never know. His channel has been pretty successful. I thoroughly enjoy it. So more power to him. Maybe he might stop unblocking all these people. Who knows? Who knows? How's it going, Shavar? What up, man? Moving on. PS5 Slim got announced. The rumors were true. We finally see the PS5 Slim in all its ill-fated glory. I say ill-fated because, I think a lot of people, in terms of their sentiments towards the PS5 Slim, in terms of the initial reaction, was that is that it? Is that it? Yeah, the design, it, of course, looks very similar to the original PS5, and then you got the damn you got this new slit in the middle, which is weird, but I assume the only reasoning for it is for the detachable disk drive. I guess, but yeah. So that's another feature of this is there is a detachable disk drive, so you could get start off with the PS5 Slim Digital, and then if you down the road change your mind and want to get the disk drive for it, you can do just that by buying it separately. I think it's I want to say it's $50. I believe it's $50 separately. Oh, 80. Never mind. Goodness. 80. And technically, if you do go that route, you technically are paying more. So, I guess it's really up to you, but I mean, it really ultimately depends. If you know for sure you're definitely going to be playing discs on it and not going all digital, you can, just go with the disc drive. So the PS5 with the disc drive is $499. $499, and then the PS5 digital is $450. But again, the illusion of cheapness kind of, well, no, actually technically it's more expensive than even the original PS5 digital, because the PS5 digital was only $400. So $50 price hike on, not to mention if you want to upgrade with the disk drive down the road, another 80 bones. So damn, that's how they get. That's how they get you. That's how they gonna get you. My goodness, that ain't. It is what it is, I guess. But they also said that this will be replacing the current PS5. So once all the stock has left, this will be the standard PS5. So there you go. I think it's pretty safe to say it's not backwards compatible with, in terms of as far as face plates are concerned, is not backwards compatible with the original PS5 face plates, and they pretty much showed that. They showed that as well by revealing some of the face plates they showed like at the previous PlayStation Direct, PlayStation Showcase, where they got the metallic, the silver, the shiny red and the shiny blue. I forgot the actual terms, but you know what I mean. So they got that. They got that. I forgot one of the very other interesting aspect of the Slim is also the stand. So technically, the PS5 Slim won't come with a stand. You technically do get a stand as well at the same time. There's this little kickstand that you can use if you don't choose not to get the stand. But now they're selling the stand separately for $29.99. So yeah. That's how they trying to get they nickel and dime into oblivion. So apparently it is compatible with the original PS5. So I guess there's that. But other than that, nothing else substantial really. Same old. At least on paper. I guess the other notable thing is that the SSD is actually 1 terabyte and not like 800 gigabytes like the release original PS5. So that is also another thing. So technically, wouldn't the storage size be like 1.2 terabyte to compensate for the extra storage, or maybe it's just some proprietary SSD? Well, yeah, I think that's a given because that SSD for the PS5 is like installed, directly on the system rather than like some, drive they got off the shelf or something like that. So I guess that also kind of makes more sense now for it to actually have the 1 terabyte, fully 1 terabyte capacity. So yeah. The USB ports. So I think that is another notable difference. Is that I guess I just realized that there's literally no front facing USB ports. I don't think. It doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. Let's see. Oh no, there is. But I think the caveat is that it's USB-C, which can be problematic for a lot of people because most people at least have a USB-C to USB-A cable for various many devices to connect. But now you would have to get a USB-C to USB-C cable to connect, at least if you want to connect directly to the front, whether it be cables, the charger, controllers, or whatever. But to be fair, I know they said that there is a USB-A ports on the back. I want to say 2. I believe 2. Are they? Yeah, two USB-A ports on the back that are 10 gigabit per second. I believe that's USB 3.0. I don't think it's 3.1, but 3.0. Maybe it's 3.1. I could be wrong. So, yeah. So there you go. PS5 Slim is real. Personally, yeah, it's not anything substantial enough to make me bite. But if we talking about the PS5 Pro though, hey, that's more that now you talking more my language. Which apparently that's being rumored to come out next year, along with, of course, the other rumored device we'll talk about as well later on. So there you go, PS5 Slim, kind of slim. It's PS5 kind of slim. That's what it should have been named. PS5 kind of slim. Moving on. Also keeping that a PlayStation train going. Choo choo. Jim Ryan, the boss of PlayStation, technically the head of PlayStation, CEO of PlayStation, is retiring from Sony next year. So he has announced that he is departing Sony PlayStation, and it seems entirely as he's going into retirement. I mean, he probably making that money, so you know. But yeah, I think his reasoning from what he said was I've relished the opportunity to have a job I love in very special company where great. Oh, that's that talk. I will leave having been. Nope, that ain't it. I know he said something along the lines that he was traveling too much and never really had like time to, I assume, kind of enjoy being home technically. I know that was one partial reasoning, and then he's also been with Sony for a pretty long time. I want to say 30 plus years, to my understanding. So understandable. I mean, hey, he knows what to do. If you wanna leave us with a bomb, he could leave us with that Bloodborne. That's what he could do. Leave us with that Bloodborne, Jim Ryan. I'm just saying. Just do it. Just for us. Just for us. Moving on. Also, keeping in relation to PlayStation news, seems like Leaker has revealed some information in regards to, at least for me personally, for sure, the highly anticipated Last of Us multiplayer game. But yeah, it looks like things are not looking so great for it, according to a well-known, reputable leaker, Viewer Anon. Basically, in a Twitter post, in regards to the state of the Last of Us factions, from at least the initial tweet from Down the Bomb, reporting Anders Howers, who was a principal monetization designer at Naughty Dog working on the Last of Us multiplayer game, has left the studio after only 11 months working there. And then in a quote from Mr. Hobo I'm gonna say Hobo Master because that's funnier. We're at the point where you all need to accept that this game is likely canceled or put on hold for a long time until part 3 multiplayer or something. Do not expect it to ever come out, and maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised. Then Viewer Anon, the reputable leaker, in a response to that, was like, it's dead, Jim. So pretty much, seemingly, I mean, that it feels a little bit more concrete that it might be canceled altogether. Either way, it's in some hot doo doo, some serious trouble. So It's yeah, who knows, man. But I mean, let's say hypothetically, they technically scrapped it being a just a separate multiplayer thing, and if it is bundled with Last of Us Part 3, I'd be okay with that. I just would like another regardless, well, however it comes to be, personally, I just would like a continuation of the Last of Us multiplayer component from the Last of Us original The Last of Us game. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, well, it definitely would be. I guess it could also be. It could also be for part 2 as well. Which you know what? You know what? Let's I guess we'll segue right into it while we're there. While we're here. So in addition to that, it was also seemingly leaked via a LinkedIn post for a Naughty Dog position that The Last of Us Part 2, or I guess they're calling it The Last of Us 2 Remastered. Who knows? I would assume The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. But nonetheless, there was a job posting on LinkedIn for Naughty Dog. Or no, actually a LinkedIn profile. Never mind. I totally misread that. Yeah, basically it was for a lead outsource artist. In terms of what his description of his job, he basically said responsible for overseeing the production of all outsourced environment art assets, weapons, and interactive props for 2 iconic titles. The Last was Part 1, of course, which came out last year, and The Last of Us 2 Remastered. So pretty much, I mean, it's pretty much a given that that is going to happen somehow, some way. So that's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's like, you think you'd have some tact, some reservations, like, this game isn't out yet. Maybe I shouldn't put this on my profile. But hey, hey, people make mistakes. People slip up. I'm curious. I'm gonna check the link. Did he change it? Yeah, he has changed. Since then, he has changed it. So good on him. Well, probably Naughty Dog breathed down his neck, like, hey man, I'm gonna you gonna have to change that right now. So yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's like some very like, no, Naughty, that doesn't seem like Naughty Dog style to like just try to do these discreet like leaks, then get people talking because they're more interested because they're not supposed to know type deal. We got to make a term for that. I'm gonna have to think of a term for that because that's come up too often. But nonetheless, yeah, Last of Us 2 Remastered. So I think the issue many people have with this is that it how would I say it? That it is too soon, since literally The Last of Us Part 2 came out 2020 or 2021, I think. Let me see. Yeah, 2020, June 19th, 2020. So yeah, that yeah, it's very soon. But then again, let's compare that to The Last of Us Remastered. I think that came out literally a year after the original PS3 release with the PS4. So, I mean, when you compare it there, because, well, yeah, what was The Last of Us PS3? release date. So yeah, that came out 2013. So yeah, the original Last of Us came out 2013 on PS3. Then on the cusp of the PS4 coming out, they dropped The Last of Us Remastered. So if that's the case, that's okay. Also, if they make it cheaper somehow in terms of like make it, cheap for people who already own the original game, the original Last of Us Part 2, or that's probably the best thing to ask for, considering that they did implement some PS5 upgrades or unlock the frame rate or something like that for backwards compatibility for playing that on the PS5, as well as maybe obviously adding haptic feedback and stuff, which they weren't able to. But with this remastered, of course, they can go crazy with a lot of that stuff. But hard to say. But I think people have issue with it that it's so soon. But I also take into consideration the fact that they're probably putting this along with the second season of the HBO show of the same name and nature, The Last of Us. So I think they're definitely doing that as well to capitalize off of the TV show. So I assume they're gonna have Last of Us 2 remastered conveniently released around at least a fairly close window with the TV show's second season. So when you put all that into perspective, I think it makes sense. I'm just curious of what is going to be improved and changed. So we know like they improve the frame rate and probably make some graphical changes. Maybe they probably could be implementing a lot of the changes they made to The Last of Us Part 1 to this too. So who knows? Only time will tell. Moving on. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I mean that it just needed that regardless. It just you just say that that needs to come with it. That needs to come with it. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, a very highly debatable topic, came to fruition as Square Enix, or I guess presumably the people behind Final Fantasy's Twitter account for officially Final Fantasy VII. They revealed, or in a tweet, they confirmed the details of a certain character of Final Fantasy VII fame, which is Cait Sith, which has been confirmed to be the official pronunciation of Cait Sith. Technically, I always say cat. Personally, I always said Cat Sith, but technically, according to Square, the developers of the game, it is Cait Sith. So there's also been people who thought it was pronounced Ketshi, which I think those are more of the Japanese side of fans that like pronounced it like that. I think there was some deep lore, quote unquote lore to it, as well, that led people to believe that is how you pronounce it. But yeah, with this now being confirmed, surprisingly, a lot of people were in an uproar about it. I think more so because it wasn't what they grew up what who like damn near 30 years of, having it be announced a certain way, but it that being no longer, and now, people being upset like, hey, I always said it cat Sith, but it's Cait Sith. What is this? I'm mad. I hate everything. Damn you, Square Enix. I don't. that's that's the only thing I can compile for that. But so yeah, just it was very interesting. Kind of similar, I guess. As surprisingly, somebody who's never played FF10, but Titus versus Titus. I don't know. It's like, hey, say how you want to say it. Because like for me, this is not going to change me from saying cat Sith personally. Maybe if I want to be more politically correct, if I'm near Tetsuya Nomura or whatever, maybe I'd say Cait Sith. But I'm like, hey, Tetsuya Nomura, I love you so much, Cait Sith. No. Otherwise, I would just cat Sith. Cat Sith, I'm just saying. But just very fascinating in terms of just like, well, obviously this game is great. The series is great. It's understandable. People are very invested emotionally, as well as, growing up in terms of the nostalgic factor. So I guess in a way it could be something like, seeing your, like growing up with a person and like the whole time they were a cake or something. So I guess I can kind of see that, like, you were adopted. What? This whole time I always thought it was cats, but it's Cait's. What? Nothing makes sense anymore. I find it very funny though. So, nonetheless, had to bring it up. It was just a very interesting discussion, and just something technically very minute in the grand scheme of things, of course, that like has just brought such an like immense uproar. I just find that very, very, very interesting, to say the least. Yeah, moving on. Tekken 8, the gift that seemingly keeps on giving. There is apparently a beta on the way, closed beta. Hopefully, if the Tekken gods look pleasantly upon me, in my favor. Hopefully, I get in. I need to put my Brian Fury and Fang Wayne and Leroy Smith in the lab, but that's another story. Otherwise, a leaker, presumably Moonsault Slayer on Twitter, grabbed some screenshots of Tekken. I'm not sure how he did, but he did. Shows what at least is assumed to be some type of form of Tekken Force for Tekken 8. For those that don't know, Tekken Force, at least starting with Tekken 3, was a essentially a beat 'em up mode within Tekken, where basically you select any of the current roster, any of the roster from Tekken 3, and basically you side scroll. It was kind of clunky. It was like they were literally putting like the character from a 3D engine into a 2D plane, and it was a little wonky, but I mean, I definitely appreciated it for just, as a fan of beat 'em ups, just putting a beat 'em up mode in a fighting game, which personally I did. I still thoroughly enjoyed. I remember. So yeah, so that was the first one. I I'm trying to remember what other like games it was technically in. I remember it was technically in Tekken 6. Oh, I guess it did. Was in Tekken 4. Yeah, that is right. It was in Tekken 4 as well. So yeah, it was in Tekken 3, 4, and then yeah, 6. I'm pretty sure it was 6. I thought it was like some pre-designated mode, like similar to Tekken 5's like the Devil Within, where it was basically a beat 'em up where you solely play as Jin Kazama. Um, but I think it was like, I think for Tekken 6 it was like a story mode that like had the Tekken 4's beat 'em up engine, and yeah, it had the Tekken 4's beat 'em up engine. But then I think alternatively you could also play. Oh, I guess they called it scenario campaign. Interesting. Was it? I remember you could play, like, I thought you could play anybody, but I don't think that's the case. I think there was bosses that were the other characters. But yeah, I think the main character you played as Lars, and then Alyssa Boskanovich would be like your backup. Maybe you potentially could have be able to play co-op, I think. Possibly. But nonetheless, that is the history of Tekken Force. But yeah, so with the screenshots of this, they look very interesting in regards to, they look very akin to like Dynasty Wars or Musu games, where basically there's like a ridiculous amount of enemies on screen and you basically are like this powered up god beating the shit out of everybody. But yeah, so basically now it looks like a Musu game, which I mean is technically still a beat 'em up. So I'm not mad at it. But yeah. I guess the biggest question is if this would still be called Tekken Force, because it technically does deviate pretty far away from what Tekken Force is known to be. So that is the biggest question. But at the very least, it seems like we'll at least have a beat 'em up. Some people did say that it might be a story mode component to the game, where maybe this is just like a dedicated random segment to kind of break up the monotony of like the traditional, like, let's have a cutscene and fight and progress the story type deal. So I could see it going multiple ways, but I guess just the fact that it shows like he has a health bar, at least in this case is Lars and Alyssa technically again. It shows he has a health bar and his heat meter, and then it does show like some of the like story mode combos and stuff like that, to kind of help in that way. But it also has like a hit chain, so like it has a combo hit chain, which is interesting. So it could go, I feel like it could go multiple ways, but I think it definitely, I'm leaning more towards at least it's a Tekken Force, or at least is a beat 'em up mode for sure. More than like, and you do see in one of the screenshots, you do see Jack. Well, I guess that they could easily make Jack uh, um, a standard enemy to fight, since he is one of many. So who knows, man? Yeah, I guess we'll find out sooner or later. Harada will eventually, don't ask me for shit. And here you go. Tekken something. But yes, also this is a PSA with this, story in of itself. Bring back beat 'em up modes for fighting games. It makes sense. It just makes sense. fighting games and beat 'em up games, I feel like they go hand in hand in a lot of ways. In terms of like, especially a lot of the recent fighting beat 'em ups nowadays, having a lot of more in depth combos than ever on the same kind of vein as fighting games as well, and also there being a lot of technicality to it in addition to it. So give us the beat 'em ups. Put the beat 'em ups with the fighting games. Put in the next Shaolin Monks in Mortal Kombat 1. Maybe DLC. That'd be dope. That would be dope. A man can dream. Street Fighter, they were kind of dabbling in it with Street Fighter 6's World Tour mode. They gave you some little tastes, little tidbits, like, hey, you're on a train right now, similar to Final Fight, fighting on the same plane, like 2D. Do you want it? You might want it. Do you want it? Like, come on. So that is my wishful thinking. Yeah, man. Beat 'em ups in fighting games. Beat 'em up modes in fighting games. Normalize. Let me do it. Normalize beat 'em ups in fighting games. Thank you. I'll leave it at that. Nintendo Switch rumors. The train keeps going. Got a couple more rumors, of course, grain of salt, but from a reputable leaker. So this was the same person the past few months. The snitch that provided details of the Rise of Ronin, which was the Ninja Turtles game, on the Discord channel, his Discord channel, revealed some deets. Specifically, the Switch 2 has an intended release date of September 2024. However, there's also a placeholder for early November. The internal name is NG. However, we don't know about the final name. There are two intended models, one being a standard for $449 with a digital option for only $400. That's all I have for now. So yeah, I mean, it's that seems likely in general. That's been where the direction we have been going as well. So also timing wise does make sense. It's the Switch itself is getting old. The games are not really getting there like they are, at least multi-platform. At least I'll give Nintendo that. But yeah, if Mortal Kombat 1 was any indication, Switch needs some more power. So yeah, so I think what is also interesting is the digital and physical disparity. We don't know the media that it has on top of that. So I think at least this definitely confirms that there will be physical media for it, which, I mean, you're kind of antsy. I feel like every generation is like, is there physical media with it or not? I think they'll eventually force us, but at least for the time being, hey, physical forever. So this may lead more credence to that. We might get backwards compatibility. So at least that doesn't fully rule out backwards compatibility, which is also pretty good. So who knows, man? Who knows? That seems like a reasonable price, all things considered. Consider we don't have much to consider yet. Well, going by the previous rumors that the power of this thing is like somewhat of a PS4 I believe. Which, I mean, you could squeeze some stuff out there with a PS4, I guess. You know, still not up to date, of course, but that's always been Nintendo's cadence anyway. So, yeah, yeah, that seems pretty likely. I was on the line of that it would at least be released, kind of similar to the original Nintendo Switch, like April or April March. Or I guess it originally reached release March of 2017. But holiday season, that does make more sense. And it's probably going to be quote unquote, competing with the PS5 Pro, if that comes to be legit. Which I believe some recent rumors came out that seems to be the case. But we shall see. We shall see. I just want to see it. I just want to get just something to start wrapping my head around this thing. Like, what are they still gonna? Is it still gonna be a hybrid where you can play it portably and dock it? Is like one gonna be solely a home console, and one is gonna be like portable and also technically a home console? Who knows? Will it be like two screens in a similar setup? I just don't know. I just don't know. I am the curiosity is killing me. Moving on. John Riccotello stepping down from Unity. John Riccotello, who was the CEO and very likely the person that was the proponent for the very controversial Unity odd charging of use of the development software. So life comes at you fast. So yeah, he is stepping down from Unity. And yeah, so there you go. I mean, it makes sense. Also, to try to rally all of the developers that use Unity, who all were pretty much jumping ship. He's like, no, I don't like that. So, best way to try and try to mitigate that is definitely to take out the head of the company, or he probably went out voluntarily, but got a pretty good goodbye package amongst stocks and all of random other stuff. So you love to see it at the same time, though, in terms of those were not very smart decisions to try to nickel and dime just various installs and just the very confusing communication of it all. And yeah, not a good look either way. So good riddance, sir. Moving on. Best Buy is said to stop selling physical media after the first quarter of 2024. That includes CDs, DVDs, and 4K Blu-rays, I believe. Yep. Via digitalbits.com. Damn. So at least the bigger question for me is like, what's gonna, like, who's gonna be like the forefront now? I guess technically Amazon will still carry physical media and you just order it that way. And if that's the case, that's fine. And both in store and online, which is crazy too. So it feels like this is kind of partially like the beginning of the end in a way. It feels like, for sure, with Remedy not making a physical version of Alan Wake, to, you know, various other, well, that was the only notable one. To this, yeah, like brick and mortar stores no longer carrying physical media. And then on top of that, limited runs, John Fairhurst said I would expect to see this trend continue in 2024. He's heard rumblings of that Walmart is dropping physical Xbox games soon, and have to imagine further cuts to physical gaming sections will be made as we get deeper into next year. So, yeah. You know, John, he's the CEO of Limited Run Games, who is like basically, at least how I like to see it, is like a third party publisher. That doesn't even fully make sense, but basically they publish the games that other people don't or won't, including collector's editions and stuff like that, which is I've thoroughly been enjoying a lot of their physical games they've published. So yeah, man, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of hard to wrap my head around it. They're like, you know, physical is dying, you know, as somebody who is definitely a big proponent for physical. That's crazy. But hey, what can you do? At least I'm gonna support physical as long as I can, and you know, it'll probably get to a point where I literally would have no choice. But it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. But yeah, hopefully limited run games and a lot of like strictly limited and a lot of the various publishing companies hopefully may be able to pick up a fair amount of that slack and be able to, you know, keep the physical dream going. At least my bigger concern is like, yeah, just like now I feel like I gotta start getting movies now that I you know, I've been kind of holding off on. I need to get some of my favorite movies. Cause I mean, most people would agree physical definitely, well, outside of games gives you better quality, specifically like Blu-ray DVDs, mostly 4K and 4K and Blu-ray give you better quality overall than like streaming services and stuff like that. So this might be a proponent, but then again, Best Buy is probably obviously gonna do like some liquidation type sale or have like, man, I can get Friday for $2. All right. So at the same time, at least can capitalize in that respect as well. You know. Yeah. Damn. It's weird. It's kind of sad. It's sad the more I think about it, but you know, it is what it is, man. Physical is going away. It's going away, man. It's going away. On that sad note, that concludes the news for this episode. Get into what I've been playing. First and foremost, El Paso Elsewhere. Man. So for those that don't know, this game is an indie game. I feel like saying that is kind of an injustice, because I feel like it's not necessarily indicative of the quality, but I'd say more so for it's a more limited team than like traditional AAA. That's at least the intent I mean by it, that like, you know, they don't have the same backing that you know, AAA companies like, you know, your Capcoms and your Platinums and your EAs or whatever. So, but nonetheless, El Paso Elsewhere, basically, I'm gonna make it very basic. Basically, you're this black guy that apparently I think this is the second game. So I think there is continuity. I'm not familiar with the first game, at least from what I looked on Steam, that it's like a first person shooter, but at least with this game, it is a third person shooter. Basically like a love letter to Max Payne in a lot of ways. Basically Max Payne with a supernatural twist is the best way to describe it. So you're this black guy just being melancholic about stuff. Pretty much, speaking to himself, narrating of himself in the same manner as Max Payne. I've not really done a Max Payne impression, man. It's cracking me up. Fuck. Damn it. I was sipping some coffee the other day. It was good. It was roasty like the chickens you put on the fire of a grill. You put some barbecue on it. Yummy. Don't give me some mac and cheese as well. Ooh, don't let the yams and the mac touch. Ooh. I went from Max Payne to like I went from Max Payne to a fat guy at the same time. And then, man, oh, that's funny. But you get the point. Basically, he is a depressed person going through it and basically conveying his emotions in a lot of analogies and whatnot. And basically is the Max Payne kind of premise, which I love. I am a huge fan of Max Payne. It's something cathartic about it in a way, like, just being in this very dreary, depressing type vibe that I don't know. For me personally, it just something resonates about it that like I just connect to, and like just I just feel engulfed. I feel like I feels just things. Everything is so amplified, and like, and then the comic book panels, which aren't in this game, but it essentially has that aspect. So basically the plot is that you're going down in the depths of this underworld technically, and you're trying to find some answers to a girl you dated, and you're trying to basically get answers without spoiling the story. But with that being said, pretty much Max Payne otherwise in terms of gameplay. You got the slow-mo shoot dodge, you got the manual bullet time toggling, you got your various similar weapons to Max Payne, your shotguns, your dual handguns. You got your you got your Molotovs, your throwables, you got your explosives. Pretty much Max Payne in a lot of ways, but it does have some unique stuff where it's pretty much you're shooting a lot of supernatural enemies, and they are interesting. You got a lot of various supernatural related enemies, and I think they do a good job of keeping the gameplay interesting in that respect, where you got certain enemies have their various nuances in terms of defeating them. You got this, one of the most annoying is this damn witch that teleports all around you, that can be a pain to take down, but thanks to bullet time makes that a little bit easier. So yeah. I did beat it. I think it was like roughly under 10 hours, at least when I beat it. I played it on Steam. I think it's also available on Xbox. I thought it was on Game Pass. I was kind of pissed because like I bought it and I was like, oh, if it's on Game Pass, but apparently you have to pay for it. It's not on Game Pass. I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually put it on there. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. El Paso Elsewhere. I dig it. I dig it a lot. I dug it a lot. Yeah, it's funny. Like after I beat it, I felt a little bit lesser of it. But the more I after some time has passed and I've thought about it, I feel like I'm liking it more, which is a very interesting kind of way to feel about a game, which it's not too many games where I feel like that. Normally it's like I've felt it and like I'm good. But this one, I feel like this one's kind of creeping up on me to the point where I want to kind of maybe play it again. Which that's a big sign actually, if I ever do. So El Paso Elsewhere, I recommend. I do recommend it. I recommend it. I really do. What else did I play? Also played Persona 4 Golden. The persona bug got me again. I just was feeling in the mood for some dope hip hop music while I'm a white teen a white Japanese teenager going through school and, you know, doing stuff with my personas, you know, trying to find friends to fight this battle that I'm fighting, you know, with angst and whatnot. But yes, Persona 4 Golden, I put maybe like 20 it was like some time where I was just very idle for long periods of time. I'm gonna say like maybe like 12-15 hours I want to say I put into it so far. But I'm interested from what I played so far. Obviously for a game like Persona, 12-15 hours is nothing really. That you just scratching the surface at that point. But I did hit a wall that did stop me from playing. Basically I got to the first boss of the game and pretty much I'm not prepared. I know I was looking at some guides along the way to kind of make things more efficient going through a Persona game. And I think I need to do some more grinding, which grinding that is also one factor that's been turning me off on it. To kind of be more likely to succeed. But then on the other end, since I'm trying to follow this guide on a strict schedule, which I think is also partially my downfall, which I should not do, and not solely just kind of go by that alone. I need some items that I can seemingly only get from going back to the real world. But if you go back to the real world, you technically kind of waste some time doing that. Which has been the dilemma because I don't want to. But then like I was like, let me try to just really just min-max this boss basically and try to do the best I can. But like I need a lot more potions and a lot more soul drops or basically SB increasing items to even stand a chance, it feels like. So I just got to a point where then my video cut out, which I think that's like might be on my TV. I just gave up. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good at the Persona scratch has been itched at that point. So who knows? I might come back to it. I'm pretty sure I definitely will come back to it at some point. A matter of when, I don't know. Especially with like the onslaught of games coming out within these next 2 months, basically. So, Counter-Strike 2. Not sure if I talked to. Yeah, I think it's my first time talking about it. Yeah, I think it dropped pretty much after my last episode. But yeah, Counter-Strike 2 finally out. I played it a little bit. Played maybe about 6-7 hours. I've not played it in a hot minute since then. But as somebody who's a pretty decent fan of Counter-Strike, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I'm not the demographic to be that critical about it because I think it's a lot of people that have been playing that game like religiously and more than I have that are more kind of hip to like the very distinct differences from this compared to CS:GO. And that's another factor to consider, is that pretty much this game has replaced CS:GO, so people can't like, you know, I don't like this, I'm gonna go to CS:GO. That's not an option. Literally, this game fully replaced CS:GO. It's like it was a substantial update to CS:GO, so it is now Counter-Strike 2. Which, give or take. There are some missing modes. I mean, I was a fan of. I like gun game a lot, which that is not in. I'm sure will come back at some point. Team deathmatch is okay. I feel like it's well, I mean, it is what it is. I think I just want some more maps, but then I think that comes down to the touchscreen, not touchscreen, but the custom game browser, which I think that's not fully working at the moment. I think, at least from what I tried to test it. So it's definitely a lot of issues, but it seems like they're periodically making updates, that at least what I see in Steam and whatnot. So, but yeah, at least gameplay wise, I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I think just in terms of the differences, for somebody like me who I would consider casual playing this, I don't really notice much of the difference. I think the biggest toting, like, drastic difference is the smoke dynamics, where it's like smoke is more realistic and it molds to environments and stuff like that. But outside of that, I mean, it's Counter-Strike, it's Counter-Strike. You striking them counters, you know what I mean? So yeah, Counter-Strike 2 is back. Counter-Strike is back, baby. But yeah, I definitely plan to play a little bit more at some point. So, keeping the damn modern war going, we got Counter-Strike, not Counter-Strike, I just said that. Modern Warfare 3 beta, which played the PlayStation exclusive PlayStation beta this past weekend. And yeah, the more I think, I've not really had some time to really fully think about my thoughts. Yeah, I think for sure this feels definitely better than Modern Warfare 2 in a lot of ways. Then it's some stuff I do wish was still, from Modern Warfare 2, that I feel like MW2 maybe is doing slightly better. But as a whole, I think I do thoroughly enjoy Modern Warfare 3 more. Because, man, the damn timed perks, just to not have that and actually have all your perks, is actually good. They call it something else or give it some type of different terminology, but it's basically essentially perks. Like, it's equipment now, where basically gloves have a different property, boots have a different property, your vests have a different property, but basically perks. But yes, no delayed activation and stuff like that. So that is a good aspect. I think there's some movement adjustments. So I think you can now slide cancel, which something I've never done, but the the hardcore Call of Duty that is my slide 360 headshot. That would be such a weird person who breathes while playing the damn game. Well, unconventionally breathes while playing the damn game. The maps, who pretty much all of the maps coming back are from the original Modern Warfare 2. The more I think about it and have played, the more I think I'm concerned I might get tired of the maps because I played them before. But there are a fair amount of maps that I've not seen since the Modern Warfare original Modern Warfare 2's release. So it's a dilemma that I'm thinking about. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna be playing and getting this, but that is just something I do think about. Yeah, something about Favela that I'm not really a fan of in this game compared to MW2. I remember liking Favela way more than I do in this, but I think that's just some of the changes, modern changes to this game compared to original MW2. So that was the one I wasn't really feeling too much in terms of when it came to voting. I was like, let's do Skid Row. Skid Row I liked a lot. I feel like I thoroughly enjoyed Skid Row a lot more. Well, about the same compared to 2. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I think it's just the lighting, the overall aesthetic design. I think was maybe annoying. I think also I forgot some of the big glaring issues, which I believe they already patched with this upcoming weekend beta, is the being able to identify your friends or differentiate your teammates from the enemies, which was a huge issue in this beta this past weekend, where like there has been so many times I've been shooting my teammates thinking they're the enemy, and vice versa, thinking the enemy are my teammates, but they're the enemy, and I get shot. It was to a point where I was getting fairly frustrated, but yeah, there was that. What was the other issue I had? Damn it. Yeah, it was the enemy not being contrasted enough. It was some other issue I had with the beta that just wasn't. Oh yeah, time to kill. The time to kill I feel is like was a little too long for my liking. I know long time to kills have been in previous Call of Duties, but I don't know, for MW2 especially, also coming off of MW3, also coming off of MW2, it just felt a little too long. I think if they knocked some things down a little incrementally, I think it would be a sweet spot. But I feel like my rifles, especially at least the rifles, I guess I can't really attest to any of the other weapons. I've really just been only using my assault rifles so far. It felt like it felt too long to actually kill people, and people were actually able to get away because of that. Which, I mean, at the same time, I mean, I'm used to longer time to kills, like Halo, for example, Halo Infinite. Among the other previous Halos, I'm totally used to long time to kills, and games can be fun with that. But for Call of Duty specifically, I think is where it is more. Just doesn't feel right. Like, I feel like if I have the advantage and I see you first, I technically should win. I mean, there's some rare instances where, the other person can get an upper hand, but more often than not, whoever sees person first, they die. But in this, I don't feel like it's necessarily the case. Yeah. And I think that also technically makes sniper rifles way more lethal, because like you can still get a single headshot with one hit compared to me trying to get like 5-6 hits in, it feels like. So I don't know, man. So yeah, I hope they do tweak it to some extent. I know I'm not the only one. There's been other people who have an issue with the long TTK. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I've been having a good time. Praise. Praise the voting system. Praise the voting system for finally coming back. Praise. Thank goodness the voting system is back. Yeah, so voting system is back. Pretty much the voting system you know and love. You get two maps. Which one do you want to play on? You vote for it. Bam. So that should be a mainstay, I think, cause man, I was at my wits end playing Sienna Border Crossing for the fifth time. I feel like I was getting trolled at that point, but I digress. Um, yeah, there's also this new tactical stance, which is weird. It doesn't feel like beneficial at all. From what I played, it's a stance where you cock your gun to the side like a gangster, I guess. And you shoot, but it just feels like a concentrated hip fire, but I don't really notice the benefits. At least from what I looked online and some Call of Duty creators, apparently there's some tech people are finding with the tech stance where you like, if you get out of it, like you go in and get out of it, you can you do get some benefits specifically for shotguns. So maybe that's the intended case, but it just seems like an odd addition that doesn't really have any like seemingly like tangible benefits to use otherwise. I tried messing with it, but I guess it really depends on your use case. I think it's maybe like if you do have a shotgun, it's beneficial there, but otherwise it's kind of up in the air. So reload canceling is back. Shouts out. Shouts out. Shouts out to reload cancel. Love me some canceling my reloads. Reload canceling is back. Unless you have the I think they call it the commando perk, where you get to run and reload at the same time. You don't get the benefit of reload canceling there specifically, but very specific use case. But yes, you can reload cancel. It's gotten funny to the point where like Modern Warfare 2 has just fucked up my muscle memory to the point where I'm just have gotten accustomed to not being able to reload cancel, where I'm like, I'm reloading and I'm like, oh, and a dude is coming at me while I'm reloading, and I'm like, oh, I can't shoot back, and then I just die when I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is MW3, I can shoot back, and I think with time it'll come back in no time, but thank goodness. Was not a fan of stage reloads from MW2 as well. So, but yeah, overall, I thoroughly am enjoying it. Obviously it's a beta. They're working the kinks out before the final release. So, of course, giving them some grace. Until that coveted final release where we get all the maps and get to play everything, and so. MW3, man, it might be back. I know that's at least from what a lot of hardcore Call of Duty fans are saying. It seems to be back. But yeah, considering all the maps were pretty great from the original MW2, and at least going by the gameplay so far, it seems like everything is pretty solid. Yeah, this might be this might, I don't know if it'll be better than MW in 2019. Personally, but time will tell. Time will tell. That's all I've been playing. Get into what I've been watching real quick. Bruh, Gen V, man. For those that don't know, Gen V is a spinoff of The Boys, where basically it takes place at this college for kind of like it seems like a spin on Professor Xavier's School of the Talented from X-Men. I think that's the name. I probably maybe mispronounced what it actually is, but you know what I mean. So yeah, basically um, the Boys College Edition in the Boys universe. So there is some continuity. This technically takes place between the Boys season 3 and the upcoming 4, I believe. So, but there's also some for certain characters there is a few flashbacks as well. But yeah, it clearly acknowledges the established plot of the Boys, while also kind of mending its own little road, also. So, but yeah, no, it has a lot of the without spoiling anything, a lot of the very I was not expecting that. Oh shit. Yeah, a lot of some raunchy stuff, again, still in line with the Boys. Got some gory stuff still in line with the Boys. So I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I think damn. Yeah, they premiered the first 3 episodes. And then I'm pretty sure I caught the 4th episode. I think the 5th episode just dropped today, I want to say. Which I've not watched yet, but I definitely plan to. But yeah, man, the Boys. Gen V. So yeah, the plot is basically you're this girl, at least who seems to be the main character. You're this girl. I forgot her name. Basically, this black girl with dreads. She has the power to control blood, and pretty much she got into this college to try to make a name for herself and various other things. Again, try not to spoil the plot. And then some antics ensue in terms of various other characters she meets on the campus, and very much the Boys fashion in a lot of ways. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I do recommend it if you are a fan of the Boys, if you like your Marvel satirical content. I do recommend it. The Boys Gen V. It's pretty good. Digging it. Loki season 2. I have only watched the first episode. I know the second episode dropped, I think yesterday technically. I have not gotten a chance to watch it, but first episode, pretty interesting premise. Picks up where season 2 left off. Where it is again, without giving too much of the story, it is a how would I say it? Yeah, it's a post Kang world where you're having issues with what Kang has done, and now there's an element where time, some type of time disease that has come to attention, come to fruition for him, that he's trying to manage and figure out, Loki himself. So he basically is in a situation where he's come to a timeline, I guess that's yet to be known, really, but a timeline where they don't know Loki. Pretty much, it was before they ever met, and by the other person, what's his name? Sean Penn. Mobius, at least the character, where they don't, pretty much all the characters he interacted with the first season, they don't know who he is. But then eventually it goes to a point where they show he teleports, and he's able to teleport somehow, but people aren't really sure why or how. And then, things get figured out or whatnot. That's at least without spoiling too much, that is pretty much the basic premise. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. Loki is boy, especially after a hidden invasion. Loki got Marvel on a back, it feels like. So loved there was a feature of Ki Hui Kwan, who you may know from Everything Everywhere All at Once, who was like the husband of damn it, I forgot her character, the main character, essentially. So I found it pretty dope to him to get work, especially after that, considering his history and like, he's like, I'm done with the industry, and then managed to find his way back, and everybody loved him. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. Shouts out to Kihu Kwan, man. Shouts out to him. Happy for him. But yeah, thoroughly enjoying Loki. I forgot the teaser at the end. Boy, that's interesting. I'm curious to see where that goes. Very curious. But yeah, Loki. With that being said, I think that will do it for episode 183 of Switch Your Sites. If you did like this podcast, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe on your various podcasting platforms. You can catch me record this live on Twitch TV/aswitch. You can also catch the archives on my YouTube channel, YouTube/aswitch. Until next time, y'all. Feel free to fuck. Get your damn game on. Aw, yeah. Nobody's safe.